Hi. Well, we've gone through quite a bit today, haven't we? Well, this might be my last video today. Uh, but we had to give a little bit of background. Should say I did. Um, I'll give you a little bit of meat in this video. And pray and ask the Lord Jesus Christ to guide and direct my thoughts and words in the delivery. And all glory be to Him, the King. He is awesome, to say the least. My book is called Taking a Stand, the Conservative Independent Voice by Cody, Judy. And thanks for popping in. Gonna light up a little smoke here. Homemade tobacco. A lot of people. Well, I guess to give you a little bit of revelation on why this is necessary right now. Because I want you to go to my blog, www.codyjudy.blogspot.com. You can look up Cody Robert Judy blog. It's www.codyjudy.blogspot.com. There's about 700 entries there, 750 entries there. It's been all over the world. We've got, I think we're getting close to 700,000 views on that blog. But it's been all over the world, and Russians, Chinese, Australia, South America, Canada, good old Aussie land down under. How you doing? England. Boy, got so much to say, but tobacco, go to my blog, start reading the post that says maybe it's a good time to start smoking tobacco. They found that mice exposed to copious amounts of tobacco smoke when they were trying to give them cancer. It couldn't give them cancer. And I use the pipe tobacco, rough cut, and roll my own, so I don't know. None of the other chemicals in it, but anyway, the mice that were exposed to copious amounts of tobacco and then by accident were exposed to nuclear particles. With a 100% kill ratio on the nuclear particles, the rats, mice, were introduced to the nuclear particles that had the copious amounts of tobacco smoke. Were the only ones that had a ratio that survived. And but tobacco companies and the government, they looked for a boogeyman on all their nuclear testing. And they certainly didn't want to be liable for causing cancer. with a tiny little particle, and hundreds of thousands of tons dropped in the air come floating down, and gosh, even a farmer kicking up dust, that's all it would take. So the mice had a little extra protective layer, and that improved their survivability. So you can go to my blog and read that. And also, if you'd like to be generous and charitable and qualify for a few more blessings and protection, go Google my GoFundMe site. So it's GoFundMe. Just look Cody, Robert, Judy, Cody, Judy, GoFundMe, and I appreciate any help that you can give. Like I said, I kind of had to stop, put to me by the Lord, and this is the reason. I've seen a lot of miracles happen, but told you I was going to get into little meat, and include a couple of dreams that I had about President Donald Trump. And I want to say that as far as the economy and everything is going, and unemployment, beautiful, beautiful job. And corruption was so deep and so prevalent in our republic. You know the difference between a democracy and a republic, don't you? You should. But the media, they're bullies. And the fact, you can hear bully come out of their mouth when they talk about our democracy and protecting our democracy. Well, does a democracy protect individual rights? Hell no, it doesn't. A republic, our constitutional republic, is founded on independent and individual rights. That's your protection. Who needs that most? Who needs that protection the most? Minorities, minority groups. So when they say, let's protect our democracy, basically it's a bully term used to squash minorities. Let me say they have used quite nefariously what's called racial demagoguery, and they've done that at the birther issue. And it's worked pretty good for them. But it's the public that's kind of been sucked in and taken advantage of, and especially minority groups. You know, I posted Dennis Rodman's video when he was so happy about North Korea. That was awesome. I loved it. I mean, that was pretty awesome. But anyway, with my platform when I was running for president, I was in the Democratic Party as a candidate. They weren't, Democrat Party wasn't about protecting individual rights or, you know, uplifting candidates, uplifting minorities, uplifting people. It was about squashing. You know, that's why Hillary Clinton ran. I call it the my turn candidacy. It was her turn. Well, the presidency isn't a drinking fountain. The office of the president, it's not a drinking fountain where you wait in a line and then when it's your turn, you get a drink. Anyway, the economic and employment perspective of President Trump's was exactly mine. In fact, it was mine in 2008 and 2012. And I mean, if you want to call it truth, you can call it truth. If President Trump came up with it all by himself, you could call it truth. But otherwise, you'd have to say he went to my platform and just went, copy that, copy and paste. Anyway, that's my way of saying that I supported President Donald Trump. And, you know, I had so many dreams about him and his family that I feel like, you know, they're some of my best friends. It's amazing what the Lord has shown me and what I've been privy to. It's really been amazing. You know, I told you in a previous video, the last one, I talked a little bit about my political history. And I told you about the pre-Trump candidate Trump dream I saw before the election happened, where I saw President Trump's big plane come in and make just the right landing. And sure enough, he won. And you know, I ran as a Democrat, and my blog is full of blogs that involve President Trump, and you know, he was kind of given the birther king status, and I think that's my ride. Because he kind of, you know, was the catalyst for the long-form birth certificate, and that Barack Obama came out with, which is fabricated. It's a forged document. We can talk about that if you want to. I will talk about it. I don't talk about it in this video. I'll talk about it in another one. I want to reveal a couple of dreams I've had. Like I said, I've had lots, and I feel like I basically know the Trump family because I've been with them so much. And you know, one dream I wrote down, and I was with President Trump in a room. It was a hotel room, and he was sitting on a kind of a sofa or footrest next to a couch, and there was a screen glass window you were kind of looking through, and I put my hand on his shoulder because I could see how heavy he was weighed down, and I said to him in a very sympathetic and empathetic way, "Gosh, the burden of being President of the United States must be so heavy." And I think it was at a time in his presidency that is still yet to come, And you know, I know that he has been, you know, largely ridiculed by the media, and I mean, it's just like, you know, pull out the automatic rifles and just squeeze the trigger, you know, constantly. And, you know, to be fair, you know, they don't want to bring it up, but Obama went through the same thing. You know, we 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 birthers did not let up, and you know, he held the office as a resident, but he was not qualified constitutionally. It was a fraud. It was a scam. It was a usurpation, basically. And I repeatedly begged and begged and begged Obama not to continue that, to step down and step aside. But you know, he didn't listen. And so anyway, that was one dream. Another one. I want to say I wrote a few of them down on my blog. That the one that's kind of coming to me right now that I probably will share is my latest one. And I was kind of in a restaurant type area and setting anyway, and I saw I went in there and I was looking for President Trump to I was actually looking for him to pay my phone bill. It was $100, and I thought I'll go find him. And so I was going through there, and as I was going through the restaurant, a waiter kind of brushed past me on the shoulder, and it was kind of like I was looking in this direction, and then the waiter kind of hit my shoulder, and I was kind of moving so he could walk past me, and I'd kind of gotten in his way. And I looked, and I took a double take, and the waiter was President Trump. And it's kind of like I looked again, and he was dressed in the clothes of a waiter or a server. And I think I made a comment to him as he was kind of going in that direction really quickly. Like I said, well, I was looking for President Trump, and then I kind of did a double take, and it was him. And he got about, I'd say about 10 feet from me, but when he passed me, it was kind of like I grabbed a towel that was on his shoulder. I grabbed that towel, and he got about 10 feet away, and he turned around, and then all of a sudden the towel was soaking wet. Water, you know. And I said, "Here, give that to him." And I threw that towel, soaking wet towel at him, and he kind of caught it, and I noticed the water just kind of splattered because it was so full of water. And I thought about that. You know, I probably had that dream, I'd say, well, maybe 3 weeks ago. And I kept thinking, what is that towel, you know, signifying? What does that, why was it full of water, you know? And Trump, you know, he went on The View, and he's the one that told Whoopi Goldberg and Barbara Walters and, you know, the other girls that were on The View at that time, you know, I think he should release his birth certificate, speaking about Barack Obama. I think he should release his birth certificate, you know. And they were kind of speaking, you know, how in the world do you get on The View in the first place? You know? Does anybody know? You just call up the producer, say, hey, I'd like to come on The View and talk about Barack Obama's birth certificate, when no other programs are letting birthers come on them at all, you know. And that was, of course, before he was running for president. But he did. He got a lot of support. I mean, there was at one time a survey, I do remember writing about it on my blog. And we're going to wrap this up because I'm down about 15%. But I think President Trump, during his candidacy, it was kind of like a 15-second blip. Okay, Obama's born in Hawaii. That's it. It's over. And then if we fast forward that till today, and we're into his presidency over 500 days, and that whole issue has just been, I don't want to talk about that because that's what everybody wants to talk about. But we're also now seeing how much corruption was involved with the Obama administration, and the National Archives is having a fit because there was so much that was wiped out by Obama, and he was constantly trying to protect that. Well, he had a complex. And the complex has always been that he's not qualified. And things happened over and over again also that manifest that. I mean, he's had to give the Chief Justice John Roberts had to give him the oath twice. He screwed it up the first time. I mean, is that stumbling through the door or what? But anyway, the symbolism, I think, of the towel being thrown at President Trump, and the fact that he was the server in the dream, in the fact that I was the only presidential candidate that went to the U.S. Supreme Court with three cases and over 21 district court cases across multiple states of the Union: Georgia, New Hampshire, California, Utah, with this petition for justice in the most important and the highest office in the land regarding a usurpation of the Constitution and the office. I don't know what is a bigger deal than that. I don't know, what is. And if you think that that's not a big deal, you're just not thinking right. And you're involved in a big cover-up. Legislative branch proved that, and they couldn't pass that. And I'm the only one that sued McCain and Obama, so it wasn't like I was picking on, any particular color, because it's a cross the line, qualification, born in the U.S. to U.S. citizen parents. And there's good reason for that, and I can get into that in another video, but I'm not going to have time to in this one. But anyway, that is, a huge defense for our Constitution. And, to kind of sweep that under the rug, is kind of what President Trump has done. I mean, I've supported him, the economic and the unemployment rate and everything that's been, happening, help our defense budget, help out the veterans and stuff like that. Supported that. I mean, there's more differences that I can kind of come up with in the Democratic Party, but I also had an interesting dream about Barack Obama, and I've had a lot about Barack Obama also, and John McCain, that led to my actions. But the court cases, 1252-76 in the U.S. Supreme Court, 1493-96, and in the 10th Circuit, 1740-55, Judy versus Obama. And there's an individual petition to Justice Gorsuch that's actually recorded in the 10th Circuit case that the U.S. Supreme Court received, but it was MIA. So they acknowledged receiving it, but did not give it a case number. And that there's a courtesy copy in the 1740-55 10th Circuit case, so it is recorded. Anyway, the towel, I think, that I threw at the waiter or server of President Trump in the dream signified this: is the master the servant of the servant? Is the servant greater than the master? Nobody's going to take credit for what I did. And you're not going to sweep it under the rug either. There's the towel. It's wet. And all of America knows of the corruption. And if you don't take care of that very, very quickly, because it's been over 500 days since you've been in office, very, very quickly, this is a warning from the Lord. Your successes up to this point will be but a dream compared to the disasters that you're going to face. Now, that's not from me. That's from the Lord Jesus Christ, the King. And if you don't believe me, just keep on doing what you're doing. You don't have to do a doggone thing, because it's a choice. The Lord always gives us a choice, and my record is very clear. And it's a record that's not going to be erased. And if God is for truth and righteousness, then you've got to deal with it. And you can deal with it sooner, or you can deal with it later. But you are going to deal with it. I'm comfortable. I've got as much time as you do. I'm not in a rush. So you guys have a good day. This might be the last video I make today. So we'll talk to you next time. I'm a voice crying out in the wilderness. Have a good day.